You're going to want to stop tossing those glass jars in the recycling bin once you see this upcycled project. First, we're going to remove the paper labels from your jars, but what about all that annoying sticky residue they leave behind? No problem. Did you know you can make your own DIY Goo Gone? Using equal parts baking soda and canola oil, you'll mix those into a runny paste and then paint it right onto all of those sticky adhesive spots with a brush. Let that mixture sit for a few hours or even overnight, and once it's soaked in, the adhesive should wipe right off. Wash the jars in warm, soapy water, and they're as good as new and ready to be used for storage. If you want your jars to have a polished, cohesive look, go ahead and spray paint the lids as well. I chose a gold spray paint, but any color will do. And now for the fun part. We're going to add professional-looking handwritten labels. They're so popular right now, and this hack will help you do it without a label maker and without perfect handwriting. Cut those labels into strips and tape them inside the jar with either painter's tape or some kind of washi tape. And then grab an oil-based paint pen and trace over the letters onto your glass jar for a gorgeous custom label in minutes. I love this hack for creating budget-friendly labels by yourself really easily and in a matter of minutes. And that's it. You have beautiful, budget-friendly storage jars made from items that you pulled right out of the recycling bin. These are so great for organizing things in every room of your house. You can use them for snacks in the kitchen or even organizing bathroom supplies on the bathroom counter and so much more.
Pick up a couple solar lights from Dollar Tree, then grab an empty pickle jar. I'm going to start by washing this pickle jar really well. I'm just going to soak it in hot water with soap. It's going to get all the sticky label off the outside and it's going to get that pickle smell out of the inside. Then I'm going to take the dry jar and I'm going to add pieces of twine to it. I want to give this kind of a coastal look. I'm just going to use a little hot glue to add some vertical pieces of twine around the jar. Then I'm going to come back and add some twine horizontally. To finish off the outside, I'm wrapping a thick piece of rope around the top of the jar. Now I'm going to fill it with some glass beads. Just pull off the stick that goes in the ground and place the light right in the jar. These look great out on my table. They look good during the day too, and at night they give off a beautiful soft glow. Thanks for watching Home Talk. We'll see you next time.
Grab tin cans and a napkin for this brilliant porch decor. I washed 3 tin cans from the recycling, removed the labels, and scuffed up the surface with a wire brush. I wiped clean with a cloth and spray painted the outside of each can with Rust-Oleum paint and primer white spray paint. While that was drying, I spray painted some metal chain black to match the black hook and chain that I had left over from a hanging planter. I set that aside to dry. Once the tin cans were dry, I used a small drill bit to drill 3 holes evenly spaced along the top edge of the tin can. I drilled holes in the same spots at the bottom edge and the same spots again at the very bottom of the tin can. In total, there were 9 holes in each tin can, and I did that for all 3 cans. Then I cut the napkins into smaller pieces and cut around the birds. I painted outdoor Mod Podge on the tin can, placed the napkin pieces on, and sealed it with more Mod Podge. I carefully placed the bird on top and painted more Mod Podge on top to seal it. I did this for all 3 tin cans, then used a nail to poke through the holes I drilled to make sure the glue didn't close them over. I let the cans dry. 24 hours is ideal. Next, I placed a petunia into each of the tin cans and hung it on my deck for the most beautiful hanging planter. Nobody would guess that this is made from recycled tin cans and napkins. I hope this inspired you to create your own decoupage tin can hanging planter. Thanks for watching Home Talk, and see you next time.
So I'm going to start this project with a empty marinara jar, and then I'm bringing out Mod Podge, and I'm taking food coloring and putting the food coloring into the Mod Podge. Now, what I'm trying to accomplish in this is I want each of my bottles to look a little different, so I made sure to make smaller batches of each color that I want to use, but I'm essentially mixing it all together to turn it into kind of a murky brownish green color. So now that I have the color brown that I was looking for, What I'm going to be doing next is I'm getting out a cookie sheet and some newspaper. I'm laying the newspaper on the cookie sheet. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm pouring the mixture, the Mod Podge mixture, into the jar, and I'm spinning the jar to try and get as much coverage on the interior of the jar as I can with the Mod Podge mixture. And then once I've covered as much as I need to, I'm going to set my jar upside down so that the top is facing the newspaper and allow it to kind of dry and kind of let the excess drain out. You're going to want to let the jar sit for about an hour before we move on to the next step. So put it in a place where it's not going to be disturbed. Now for the next step, we're going to take all of our bottles and we're going to make sure that they're top side up, and we're going to bake these at 225 for about 45 minutes to 65 minutes. This all depends on if you check the bottles at 45 minutes and you still see any sort of streaks or anything that looks like the Mod Podge is dripping, you'll want to leave them in there a little bit longer. And as you can see, each of them kind of has a different tint, so you can really play around with the colors when you're mixing up your Mod Podge. I wanted to show you how different each of them look. They all kind of have a different tint to them. I hope this inspired you to try this DIY aged amber bottle project. It's beginner-friendly, faux vintage decor on a budget. Thanks for watching Hometalk, and see you next time.
Head to the recycle bin for this cute and creative idea that won't break the bank. To start, I'm choosing an LED puck light from the Dollar Tree. Lights that come with a remote would be an added bonus. To determine the wood sizes, one piece of wood is cut to the same width of the tin can, one piece slightly larger for the base, and 2 cedar strips measuring 12 inches long that will hold up the can. Working within the smaller board thickness, I'm pre-drilling 2 screw holes on the bottom of each cedar strip plus 1 hole near the top. I'm now choosing my paint colors of Raw Silk and Coal Black by Fusion Mineral Paint. Both cedar strips and the smaller wood block are being painted in 2 coats of black. Using a gloved hand for protection from the metal, I'm positioning the tin can over my hand, then painting it with 2 coats of raw silk. Now it's assembly time. The main base is being placed good side down, then the smaller block of wood is being positioned on top and traced. I'm now pre-drilling 4 screw holes in the main base within the marked area. Flipping the base good side up, I'm positioning the smaller board on top of the base, then holding that position, carefully flipping it around and attaching the 2 pieces together from the underside with screws. This will mount the 2 boards together without the screws showing. I'm now attaching the 2 cedar strips to both sides of the smaller piece of wood through the 2 screw holes. Now the tin can is being held in between the 2 cedar strips. I'm drilling a small hole through one side of the can using a small metal drill bit, then attaching the can to the strips with a short screw. You can also use a nut and bolt if preferred. I realized later that you could slightly see the inside of the can, so I'm doing a quick touch-up with the paint to cover any exposed metal. To enhance the overall look, I'm hot gluing some thin white rope to the entire edge of the open can's side, which softens the edges really nicely. Then with a quick push of a button, my tin can task light is ready to use wherever I wish. This hands-free task lighting is surprisingly very bright thanks to the LED puck, and the can is easy to position wherever you need a little bit of extra light. I love the aesthetic of the tones, which marries my home office really well. Plus, there's even a place for a sticky notepad to help me get my work done. Plus, my coffee cup even fits using it as a coaster.
Don't throw away your old glass jars with lids. I took my jars, cleaned them out really well, making sure to clean also under the lid. I picked up some black candle holders from the dollar store and also 2 little wooden knobs from the hardware store. I used a hot glue gun to place the knobs on top of the lids and let those dry. In the meantime, I also took my jars and adhered those to the candle holders. Once my lids with the knobs were dry, I took them outside and gave them a little coat of black spray paint. Then all I had to do was fill my jars with things that I wanted in the bathroom, and I placed my newly painted lids right on top. They screwed into place perfectly. I love the way they make the bathroom look, and they allow me to have some things that I use all the time out in the open in a pretty way. You can also add a label if you want to take it one step further. I hope this will inspire you to upcycle your glass jars with lids.